In the dark recesses of human behavior, there exists a crime so heinous it defies comprehension. The murder of a child. It's an act that shakes society to its core. When such criminals are caught and convicted, they face not only the judgment of the courts, but also the wrath of their fellow inmates. The prison system, often viewed as a place of punishment and rehabilitation, takes on a different character for child killers. It becomes a realm of retribution, a world where the normal rules of incarceration seem to bend. What happens to child killers once the prison gates clang shut behind them? It's a question that provokes both curiosity and revulsion. The answer reveals much about our justice system, human nature, and the limits of compassion. As we delve into this grim topic, we must steel ourselves. The moment a convicted child killer steps into prison, their world changes dramatically. The air grows thick with tension. Word spreads quickly among inmates and staff alike. A new arrival, and not just any criminal, but one who has committed the ultimate taboo. The reception is far from welcoming. Guards, while professionally bound to protect all inmates, may find their resolve tested. Many have children of their own. Some might turn a blind eye to the rough treatment these new inmates receive. Others might engage in subtle forms of psychological torment. Fellow inmates, upon learning of the new arrival's crime, often react with unbridled hostility. Threats are hissed through cell bars. Promises of violence echo in communal areas. Even hardened criminals, those who have committed terrible acts themselves, draw a line at harming children. The initial days are a baptism of fire. Child killers quickly learn they have no allies here. Every shower, every meal, every moment in the exercise yard becomes a potential opportunity for attack. The psychological impact on child killers in prison is profound and relentless. From the moment they enter, they're subjected to a barrage of verbal abuse. Insults, threats, and graphic descriptions of what awaits them are constant. This verbal onslaught comes from all directions. Other inmates, and sometimes even staff. Sleep becomes a luxury, often interrupted by nightmares or the fear of attack. Paranoia sets in quickly. Every glance, every movement from others is interpreted as a potential threat. The stress is unrelenting. Many child killers report experiencing severe anxiety and depression. Isolation, often sought for protection, brings its own form of psychological torment. Hours stretch into days with little human contact. The mind begins to play tricks. Guilt, if present, has ample time to fester and grow. The human psyche, not designed for such prolonged isolation and stress, begins to crack. Even those who manage to integrate into the general prison population face constant psychological pressure. The threat of physical violence looms large for child killers in prison. It's not a matter of if, but when. Attacks can come swiftly and brutally. A shiv fashioned from a toothbrush in the shower. A beating in a blind spot of the exercise yard. These assaults are often premeditated, carried out with a cold efficiency that speaks to the hatred these offenders inspire. The injuries sustained in these attacks can be severe. Broken bones, deep lacerations, and internal injuries are common. Some attacks are intended to maim rather than kill, leaving the victim to suffer long-term consequences. Prison staff, while officially tasked with preventing such violence, may sometimes be slow to respond. In some cases, guards have been known to deliberately look away or delay intervention. The constant threat of violence takes a physical toll, even when attacks don't occur. Section 5. The Prison Hierarchy, where child killers stand. In the complex social structure of prison life, a clear hierarchy exists. At the top are often those convicted of high-level drug offenses or organized crime. They command respect and wield influence. Below them are various tiers of offenders, each finding their place in the pecking order. At the very bottom, universally reviled, are the child killers. This position at the bottom of the hierarchy has severe implications. It means no protection from other inmates, no alliances. Child killers are often forced to live in constant isolation, either by choice for their own safety or by the decree of other prisoners who refuse to associate with them. Even other sex offenders, themselves low in the prison hierarchy, often distance themselves from child killers. The isolation is near total. Section 6. Survival rates. How long do they last? The life expectancy of child killers in prison is significantly lower than that of the general prison population. While exact statistics are hard to come by, anecdotal evidence and studies suggest a grim picture. Many don't survive their first year. The initial period is the most dangerous, as word of their crimes spreads, and other inmates seek to establish dominance or exact revenge. Those who make it past the first year face an ongoing struggle. Constant vigilance is required. Even a moment's lapse in attention can prove fatal. Over time, the stress and physical toll of this existence wear them down. Many succumb to health issues exacerbated by the harsh conditions and constant state of alert. Suicide rates among child killers in prison are notably high. The combination of guilt, isolation, and constant threat proves too much for some to bear. Section 7. Notable cases. When justice takes a dark turn, high-profile cases highlight the perilous existence of child killers in prison. Jeffrey Dahmer, though not exclusively a child killer, murdered minors. In 1994, Dahmer was beaten to death by an inmate. The attack was brutal, reflecting the hatred his crimes inspired. Roy Whiting, convicted of murdering Sarah Payne, faced numerous attacks. In 2002, he was stabbed in the eye. In 2011, he was slashed across the face. These incidents underscore the danger faced by those convicted of crimes against children. Section 8. Voices from the inside. Inmates and experts speak. To understand child killers in prison, we must listen to those who have witnessed it firsthand. Former inmates provide valuable insights. One ex-convict stated, "It's a different world in there for them. Every day is a fight for survival. No one's got their back. It's as close to hell as you can get." Prison psychologists offer a professional perspective. Dr. Elena Rodriguez explains, "The psychological trauma is immense. They live in a constant state of fear and isolation. Many develop severe anxiety disorders, depression, and PTSD. Prison guards, too, have unique insights. One veteran officer, John Simmons, shared, It's a difficult situation for us. We're trained to protect all inmates, but it's hard not to feel differently about child killers. We have to be extra vigilant because we know they're always at risk. Experts in criminal justice also weigh in on the ethical implications. Section 9. Rehabilitation or retribution, the path forward. The treatment of child killers in prison raises profound questions about the purpose of incarceration. Should rehabilitation be the goal, even for those who have committed the most heinous crimes? The current reality suggests that for child killers, prison often becomes purely punitive. Some argue that certain crimes are so monstrous that redemption is impossible. It's a debate that goes to the heart of our justice system and our values as a society. The way forward remains unclear.